Welcome to Dental Unscripted, where Mike Dinsio and Paula Quinn break down the practice ownership journey, one episode at a time. Starting up, buying, and running a successful dental practice.
Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Dental Unscripted. My name's Mike Dinsio, and I have my co-pilot in the chair today, Miss Paula Quinn. What's going on, Paula?
Hey, how's it going?
We have a topic today that is just you and me spitballing on something that comes up almost every single time we go into a dental office. And I think it's really interesting that this topic creates this kind of energy. It creates I don't know, it creates a lot of dialogue. Like, it's just really interesting. And so I'm excited to cover this topic today. But before we get into that, guys, just please subscribe. We'd love actually a review. It really helps the program. I've asked you all for this before. Please give us 5-star. If you're on Spotify, iTunes.
I mean, we did get top 5 on something or other.
We did get top 5 of something.
What was that? I don't even know.
It's like the dental podcast directory or something. Yeah.
So somebody must be listening. So
I know you all.
You know, anything helps. So
I know they listen because I hear it every day when you all call and try to get not try to get, but call us and ask us questions and potentially have us be your consultant. But it'd be nice if you could just take that extra step real quick and hit that little star. So
put that in the below our podcast and anything. We should make it easy.
On our email signature or something.
No, even when we're live and then we
in the description.
Yeah, because we always talk about making it easy for people. You know, people have to go look for stuff. They're not.
Yeah, we should do that. It might be in the description. I don't know, folks. Go look at the description. Tell me. Shoot me an email.
You should know.
I should know, but I don't know, Paula. Thanks for calling me out. So today's topic is all about, should your team know the numbers? And if you're driving into work right now or whatever, listening to this in the gym, you whatever your thing is with these podcasts, you're thinking right now, yeah, of course they should. What a silly question. Should your team know the numbers? The answer is of course. But I'm going to tell you right now, 9 out of 10, if not almost 10 out of 10 of our clients who own practices are not sharing the numbers with their team. And so we're going to kind of break this down as to why it's important to share the numbers and which numbers each team member should probably be looking at. And so that is the topic today. Should your team know the numbers, and how do you roll them out? So, Paula, you once did a training more recently on this next generation as to what motivates these young workers, and like the Gen Zs. Mm-hmm. So I guess I'm just going to ask, how important is explaining the numbers to the team or actually having a daily conversation about it to these young folks? Do they even care? And it's not just the young people, it's the whole team. But I guess I want you to take it a little bit deeper than that.
Well, I think it's how you present it. If you just told them, you know, do you want to know the numbers? They probably don't care. But the purpose or the why behind it, I think, is what's important. It's, you know, numbers tell a story, and the story is how great of care are we taking of our patients? How much do our patients like us that they're getting back and trust us and value us that they're getting back on the schedule? I joke all the time, and I'm like, nobody cancels on their hairdresser. As a matter of fact, I have a right before this podcast, I was looking, and my friend's birthday's coming up, and she asked us to go to brunch, and then she's like, "Oh, but I have a hair appointment, so it has to be at this." It has to
The
be.
hair point.
And I'm thinking, nobody does that for dental. Oh wait, I have a dental appointment. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
maybe a teeth cleaning, but
Yeah.
so I think, again, I was joking. Do they trust us? Do they value us? Do they respect what we bring for their overall and oral health? So I think, that's number one. I think we don't want our patients running around with cavities. I mean, heaven forbid they have an emergency and go to a different practice and they're like, "Hey, do you know you have periodontal disease, or you got 10 bad teeth?" And they're like, "What? Why didn't my dentist tell me? Why didn't they tell? I didn't even know it was that important." I was coaching an office the other day, and it's the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Whole tooth and nothing but the tooth.
She's on a roll today, folks.
Patients don't hear what you say as much as I have patients all the time say, "No, the doctor didn't even do an exam. No, he didn't do an oral. No one took x-rays on me." And you're like, "What? We did. It's in your clinical notes." But you almost have to over exaggerate what's being done, what they need. And we feel as dental professionals that they might think we're salesy, or they might think so we almost like, "Oh, you have a little cavity and we should get that done soon." They actually don't hear it at all. They hear it's not important.
Mhm.
So anyways, numbers, represent that. And I also think, like, investing back in the practice. If I'm a doctor and I have all this overhead, do I need to share that with my team? Absolutely not. But what I need to share with them is, what do I need? Okay, oh great, you want a new Cavitron, you want a new laser, you want a new Statum, you want new whatever wallpaper on the bathroom, because it's embarrassing, whatever it is.
Mm.
Okay, well, right now we're making enough to open the doors and for me to pay your wages and the overhead and the practice and the rent. I really can't spend the money to fix this place up, because I need to make a little bit of money. You know,
Yeah.
I also have kids and a house and a car. So, and nobody feels sorry for the dentist ever. Just so you know, dentist, nobody ever feels sorry for you.
Mhm.
So I think it's important to share the numbers so they can understand, maybe not exactly what your overhead is, but if we don't make 100,000, that doesn't even pay our bills. So in order for me to reinvest in our practice and me to
Mhm.
get you the equipment or the tools or the nice wallpaper, we've got to
Mhm.
be at least 110, 120, whatever that is.
Yeah.
That is a meaning. People want a purpose. They want to know why. They want a purpose. They want something to work toward. That's something to work toward. I want a new laser. That's something to work toward. I am embarrassed by the guest or the patient bathroom. That's something that might, make me excited. I want to go to the state CEs, and doctor could pay for it. How can I ask him or her when we're barely making ends meet? But
Well,
when
I think the team just assumes that oh my oh, it's happening. The
I
team assumes that the doctor is making tons of money just by I'm about to mute you, Paula. The team is assuming that the doctor is making a ton of money, and so I think that our clients are oftentimes thinking, "Well, I don't want to talk about the numbers because I'm insecure that they think I'm making a bunch of money." And I think that's where it comes from. The cold hard truth is that most of our clients, doctors, aren't making a ton of money. I mean, some are, of course, don't get me wrong, but like they don't want to talk about it. Uh they don't want that to be a thing. And I think so for that reason, they don't talk about any numbers. And so when we walk into offices and we start talking about production goals, reappointment rates, treatment acceptance, all perio percentages, all the things, um, like the team actually gets really excited. And it's kind of cool to see that the team just all of a sudden opens up and wants to be part of the numbers. I always find it interesting that our clients don't like call us after the team meeting and say, "Oh my God, that was amazing." They actually do care and want to hear the numbers. It's like, I've made this analogy 100 times. I'll say it again. When Alexander started soccer and they were just kicking the ball around and kind of playing keep away, all the team member, all of the players were just kind of clustered. The minute the coach put red jerseys on one half and yellow on the other and said, "Okay, your goal's there and your goal's there," the game totally changed. So now that the team knows where they're going, it was fun to watch. And it's the same thing with dental practices. The team wants to impress the owner. The team wants to hit goals if you give them goals. And so that's a whole nother conversation, is like, is your software working and are all the numbers accurate? It's a different story. But this is just the concept of team wants to know. They do. Start talking about it and don't be afraid of numbers. Now, profit again is off limits. We're not talking about profit. We're talking about production goals, collection goals, all the KPIs. So I just think that people want purpose, and you got to give them something to go to, like the soccer team. Okay, so your amber, is there an amber alert over there? Is everything okay?
No, I don't know how. It's probably because it was my daughter. She gets through my focus because, it can.
So is your daughter amber alert now? Is that what's
No,
happening?
so I hit it and it literally called the emergency, and I was freaking out because it was dialing 911, and I was like, I'm trying to like pretend like I'm focused, and I'm dialing 911 as we're sitting here having a podcast. So it's all good.
So we've had episodes before about like what KPIs should we track, but I do want to get a little bit granular. So now that we know, is there anything else to add about why it's important for team members to understand the goals other than they need the purpose before we get into what they should be tracking?
Well, I think you said it. It's purpose, and we want to help you get there. And like you said to your son, like, we don't know where the goal is. We don't know which way to go. I always say we're all individuals. If we have experience, we're all individuals on an island doing our own thing. If we don't know what the purpose is, we don't know what the goal is. So I'm good at what I do. I'm just going to do what I do. But if you say, "Hey, Paula, if you do this, this will help us get there," I'm like, absolutely. But if not, I'm just going to do what I know how to do. And it's,
you said it, like, this next generation, they do need purpose. And you taught me this. And if you tell like a Gen Z, "Hey, I want you to hit this percentage of a reappointment," and that's it, they're probably not going to do it. If you tell a Gen Xer, even some older millennials, "Hey, I need you to hit this percentage," they will, just because the boss asked them.
100%.
The younger you go down from kind of like a older millennial and down, purpose matters the most. So we talk about like numbers. "Hey, this is the number, hit it. Let's start talking about it." Just ask them to a younger gen, that it's not going to work, but it's the why and the purpose behind it. So I think any numbers that you guys decide to start talking and incorporating into your office, you have to hit the nail right on the head as to why this number matters. And Paula, you said it best. Numbers reflect the care that you give the patient. So again, if hygiene reappointment rate if our goal is 90% to reappoint hygiene, that's the number. And you just say it. Gen X, that's good. Consider it done. Gen Z is going to be like, "Why 90%? Like, well, it's because we care about our patients and we don't want them to go too long without and blah, blah. What are the consequences of that and the whole thing?" So
numbers are just a story. is it good? Is it bad? If it's bad, why? What do we need to do? It's not like, oh my gosh, you didn't hit that, you're all fired, or oh my gosh, you didn't hit that, you're a bad team. Whenever we don't hit something, it's a system. It's usually a break in the system, not a break in the person. So it just means we need to all get together and figure out where that break in the system is. By the way, the Amber Alert was
okay. Update on the Amber Alert. Update on the Amber Alert.
Outfit because she's going to an event. She wanted to know if it was cute or not.
Got
It
it.
was funny when you said Amber Alert. I'm like, she pushed something to get it all through, and then I go, "Are you okay?" And she goes, "Yeah, this outfit." And then she sends me the
well, I mean, we've got these. Our marketing guy said you got to start using more things. So when I heard that, I was like,
oh.
but,
That's what. Well, I didn't do that at first, but then when you said, "Is that an Amber Alert?" I'm like, and I declined her. I'm like, maybe I should make sure she's okay.
Well, she's okay.
I mean,
she's
for,
okay.
for a Zennial, it probably is not an Amber Alert, but an emergency.
Got it.
Okay,
so let's talk about each department. So what are the numbers for each department? And I know that's a loaded question, but let's not get crazy with this. Let's just give maybe enough to tease the audience and bring it down. So let's start with the front. Let's start with the front office. Sharing numbers is one thing, but giving the front these goals can really move the needle. So I've got a couple ladies first. What are your numbers at the front that you're liking?
You know what's funny is I just did right after all of these, I have a meeting on we don't tell our team it's called performance evaluations, but basically performance evaluations, right?
Yeah.
And the things that I put on there are, the cancellation and no-show, so appointment confirmation rate, treatment acceptance rate, and then probably the biggest is kind of like, there's so much that goes into it, but like uh, a production goal, like scheduling to goal, I guess I should say. And then you said front office, right?
Yeah.
Am I just making shit up? Okay. And an overall collection rate. The thing about collection rates that I've learned over the years is, we do week to week KPIs and it kind of goes like this. Like 1 week it's like 60%. And you're like, wow.
It's like they're on.
But all of a sudden you'll see a trend and all the checks kind of come at a certain time and then it'll go like back up. So I would say, production, of course, because we have to fill the schedule. If we don't produce, we can't collect. So production, collections, because just because we produce, we don't always collect. So we have to, that has to come. And then for me, the cancellation and no shows, because that reflects creating value, creating that system of our office policies and being able to have that difficult conversation up front to keep the schedule full. Yeah. And then I'm missing one. I think overall, just reappointment rate overall and case acceptance, because even though case acceptance is partially the entire team's responsibility, because if you don't create value in the back, I'm not a magician.
Yeah.
And if that was bad as a front office person, I would be meeting with my clinical team and saying, hey guys, I feel like I'm following up. Nobody's rescheduling. What does it look like back there? I know your handoffs up front are shitty, whatever, but those would probably be my top ones.
Yeah. I mean, you nailed them for me. That's it. I think I'll just put an extra emphasis on scheduling. Only, and like how you do that, I'm thinking, the doctor can track open time, the doctor can track dollars, meaning production goals for the day. But like scheduling just gets overlooked. And I'm just going to stress on that one.
You're going to tell my horror story?
You go ahead. Yeah, go
You
for
can
it.
tell it. You had to hear me complain on a daily basis. It would be just as easy for
I just think that, like, depending on the identity of your office, you usually have like a front office a scheduling coordinator and an insurance coordinator. And if you've listened to any of our other podcasts about outsourcing insurance billing, remote billing, you're going to hear it again. Sorry. But like, the personalities, and sorry if you're a front office person and I offend you here, but the personalities of like a or a scheduling coordinator and a billing coordinator are like almost two different people. So when you're interviewing for front office people and getting experienced people, you almost are like interviewing for two different personalities and two different people. I want you to imagine this really like extroverted, like really great personality, an amazing person that just can almost like a salesperson.
Michael.
Like me. Yeah. That person is very much a treatment coordinator and scheduling coordinator. But then you've got like the other type of personality, and that's a very detailed introvert. Good if you just throw them in a closet for 16 days and they come out and they're energized. It's like, oh my God, like
With perfect accounting, with great numbers and
yes.
everything. All the boxes are checked and it's done.
That is like your insurance coordinator. And so that if you're trying to hire for the wrong person, you're going to get probably some bad results there. And the point that I'm making here is that Paula she kept all of it, billing and schedule coordinating in one person. And one day she
Because
walks
my
in.
practice wasn't big enough to hire two
Yeah,
people.
you had one person. Yeah. And that's great. It's a lot of offices. And one day she realized that her front office person was literally spending hours chasing down a $32 fluoride from Delta Dental or whatever it was. We wish we could get $30 from Delta and fluoride, but and the next day was empty. so folks, what's more important, chasing $32 or picking up the phone and scheduling people?
Wait, and what's better is I was interviewing the other day and she said, "Well, we don't leave until the schedule is full." And I thought, "Well, that's a great answer, but when are you looking at that schedule?" Because and she's like, "Well, by the end of the day I check it." And I said, "Oh, so at 4 or 5 you look at the schedules for tomorrow and it's not full and now you have 2 hours of overtime trying to fill that
a
schedule." That's
great answer, but overtime's not available at this
Yeah,
job.
exactly. So it has to be super again, the why, the purpose behind it, understanding why this literally drives the entire practice is filling that schedule.
That's right. So back to numbers, track either open slots or track dollars. Everybody's kind of got their jam, but just share the numbers, guys, and have the conversation. All right, let's pivot. Hygiene. I'm actually going to let you just take this whole segment, Paula, because hygienists need to look at numbers, and I find I'll just pre-frame this for you, is I find that hygienists really do want to know the numbers. You all think they don't. Most of the time when Paul and I are talking about numbers, it's the hygienists that get the most excitement. Isn't that ironic? All the doctors are constantly bitching about hygiene and how much they cost and all the things, but most of them aren't sharing numbers with the hygiene.
Oh my gosh,
team.
I did a hygiene program yesterday and I said, your reappointment rate is like probably average, the top is 94, your continuing care when they walk out the door, you're reappointing. I said, average is 88. You guys are like 91. What? Who don't we reappoint?
They got offended.
I pull it up and ironically enough, like 3 of the employees and the doctor and his wife had all been seen like 1 week and messed up their numbers. Yeah, it was hilarious. And then the other one was she had appointed a periotherapy but didn't take the continuing care box and fix it. So it was showing that she didn't reappoint the patient for their preventative care, which in fact she had diagnosed perio. So it was hilarious. We spent 10 minutes I had to calm them down, which I loved every minute of it because they were so competitive with themselves.
See, that's what I mean. Yeah.
It was amazing. I loved it.
Hygienists love numbers. You all wouldn't think they do. Of course, some don't and are like meh. But I would say again, I'll stand on that comment that every time we share the numbers, it's the hygienists that get the most excited because they can actually move the needle.
We're producers.
They are producers. That's right. So what are some of the numbers that you would ask the hygiene team to track and monitor?
Well, there's more than one number one, but
yeah,
reappointment rate, that's easy. It's a slam dunk. They're in your chair, reappoint them. It should be 94%.
Yeah.
It should be worst case 88%. It really 90, there's no excuse. We have transient places. We have college kids. Of course we do. Okay, college kids reappoint once a year. Get them in next Christmas. Children, their parents aren't around in the moment. Hey, I took the liberty of going ahead and scheduling you. Tell your mom to call me if it doesn't work. Really just the transient places, especially here in Arizona. We have a Sedona, beautiful, 100 millions of people live up there, but there's also a lot of visitors that come in, emergencies that really truly can't be converted to patients. They're vacationing.
Well, just know your number and set the bar.
Periodontal diagnosis, huge. Fluoride acceptance. Hopefully,
what do you mean Perio Diagnosis? What do you mean, like dollars or
percentage
or amount?
Yeah,
I mean, I saw 10 patients and I diagnosed 3. Like, is that what you mean?
50%. So technically, about 30-ish% of the practice of all the hygiene patients seen should be perio. But as you know, Michael, because I've taught you, a lot of that in many practices is older. So they'll have 35% perio, but that was a hygienist, that perio maintenance counts in that. And that was years ago. And today they had 70 new patients this month and 10 of them had periodontal disease.
That's bad.
There's a problem with that when 50% of the US over 30 has periodontal disease. So
folks, listen to that. It's the new perio versus the old perio, because I get a lot of buyers that look at perio numbers and are like, oh, it looks good. Say it again in another way if possible, Paula, just to set that in stone. Cure that light. Cure it.
I think you have to look at the active numbers, not a 4910 or a 4341, a 4342. How much active perio is being diagnosed, not just what is the percentage of the practice that has perio. If it accumulates over years. So are we currently still diagnosing, and is it proper diagnosis? And we're not relying on the hygienist before all the stuff she did that now counts toward our numbers. Fluoride acceptance, if you believe in that, 80% for adults, we're really good if we're a pedo, or if we've got a lot of children, it's a covered service typically. So it's easier to diagnose when insurance is paying 100%. So it's really that adult program that I'm looking at overall at 80%. And then I think the last thing probably that's a big deal is production per hour. And I would say nobody knows this. We had a doc in Utah I did this for very well. He really wanted to know these numbers. And is our hygienist truly producing at least 3 times their wage? It is difficult, but that goes into account. When we say 3 times your wage, that's an insured practice. If you're a fee for service practice, you should be blowing 3 times your wage out of the water. So don't sit and say, well, we see a lot of PPOs and insurance, Delta patients. Yes. The only time I would probably give grace is if we have a pure Medicaid office. There might be some discrepancies there of how much we're producing per hour. But because we're looking at a mixed bag, I'm a hygienist. I'm not just doing prophy, I'm not just doing prophy and x-ray, I'm doing prophy exam and fluoride and x-ray. I'm doing not exam doctors. I'm doing gingivitis therapy. I'm doing full mouth debridements. I'm doing perio therapy. It should be mixed. And when the month is added up, I should be producing minimum 3 times my wage. So,
Okay.
got it?
Thanks, Paula.
Got
Gosh, God, thanks. I asked you to double down, and then I retracted that statement because you got excited.
We're supposed to
No,
do this.
it's great. It's perfect. Okay, pivoting then. So we've covered like why importance or importance matter, why numbers matter or why they're important. We're covering which departments. We've covered front office numbers, hygiene numbers. The last, of course, and definitely not least, is numbers for dentists. So when I say dentist, it's not
Dentists or
necessarily.
dental assistants?
Well, I guess it's kind of both, but like I'm thinking the associates or the non-owners, or if you're an owner, of course you're an owner, you need to look at like all the numbers of all these things that we're talking about. But now let's just talk about dentists as like associates or producers. And my big thing with docs is really like, well, there's two things. It's how much did you diagnose each month? And then how much of that got accepted? And so a lot of you think that like it's so funny. Like we talk to doctors all the time about their acceptance, and they're always appalled or offended that we say 40% of case is the average case acceptance. It's actually 39. But what we're talking about is if a doctor diagnosed $1,000, on average, $400 gets accepted. So if
That
the whole
day. That day.
day, or just in general for the month, day, whatever, it's 40%.
That thing we track is, did they reschedule that day?
If they scheduled it that day.
So that KPI we look at, that 39% acceptance, is when.
But we look at it for the month. We look at it for the month.
Still
And it's
go
still
by.
40%.
If the patient calls back, that number doesn't go
I
back.
see. So it's the day of acceptance. So that's a little bit of an outlier, but I would say if the patient does leave, there's a pretty low percentage that they're going to accept later, unless you have a killer on the phone. So again, back to the number, it's what did you diagnose? How much money did you diagnose? I know that sounds rough, but again, numbers just tell a story. If it's 100,000 a month, if it's 5,000 a month, what's your number? What's your baseline? What are you diagnosing? And then how much of those dollars get accepted? If you want to do it by the day, if you want to do it later on, you have your way to track it. It doesn't have to be the way even Dental Intel does it, but just track that. Know if your diagnosing is down or up. We find that doctors get tired. We find that they get older. They get distracted at home. There's a lot of things that fluctuate what doctors are doing in the chair. If they go to some big CE at midwinter, Chicago midwinter, and they come back energized, their diagnosing is up. If they're just kind of in a funk or maybe they're really busy in that week or month doing a ton of dentistry, they stop diagnosing. And then guess what? Next month it shows up. It's light. So track how much you are diagnosing on a month, week basis, and then how much gets accepted. Those are the big ones for me for a doctor. Can you think of anything else that might be important for a doc to track, Paula?
Well, I like same day treatment.
That's a good one.
So I like to really focus on once they come back, are we able to discuss the benefits of having additional things done in the mouth? Did we complete treatment? Can we go ahead and do a night guard today? There's all kinds of things. So I really pay attention to same day treatment.
That's great.
And the last thing I also do pay attention to is the cancellation and no show as a doctor, because again, if we don't cancel on our hairstylists, we don't cancel on our nail techs, So if we're canceling on our doctor, it's not always just the front office responsibility. It's why did this patient not value getting that done? I mean, listen, no one wants to spend money.
Mm,
No one loves the dentist. No one wants to hurt or get a shot.
mm,
But if we do a really good job of explaining the consequences of not getting something done,
mm-hmm.
we should have less and less cancellation and no show.
Agreed.
Also, support our team in teaching them as they're rescheduling when a patient calls, what are we now, not so much an associate, they can't really control this 100%, but as an owner, if this is something big in your practice, what system is broke? Is it our treatment enrollment? Is it our front office verbiage? Is it our actual just office policy? But I will say a lot of it stems from the value that the dentist creates because again, I'm not canceling on certain people in my life.
Yeah.
I'm being canceled on all the time or most often. Maybe we're missing the mark when we're presenting a case to a patient.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So every department, front, hygiene, dentist, has numbers to
And
track and
dental
follow.
assistants. We won't
And
get
dental-
into that. We'll skip that one because we've been going, but there are certain things that the dental assistant should have responsibility
I
for.
love that. So I think this episode really just debunks the idea that team members shouldn't have numbers to go after and at least goals. And even if you're a conservative, aggressive, whatever doctor, it doesn't really matter. You have a baseline, figure what that is, and then pay attention to what you're doing on a weekly, monthly basis based on your baseline and track it and have a discussion around it. And I think that's appropriate and that's what needs to be done. So and then the last little bit is the why behind those numbers. So we just talked about a bunch more numbers. Just slow down with the younger generation, meaning the middle to young and younger millennials, and just talk about why it matters to be looking at these numbers and tracking it and make meaning to the care that you're providing the patients. It has nothing to do with the dollars in your back pocket that you're probably thinking and being, feeling insecure about. You got to get it down to the meaning, to the patient, to the practice and all of that. And take it away from your back pocket profits. So that concludes another episode of Dental Unscripted. Paula, thanks for always showing up and being your best. We love doing this program. We want to continue to do this program. Those likes and subscribes matter to us. And we'll just keep doing it. We've got more content later today and the rest of this month coming out. So thanks again for always being part of our podcast family, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks for listening. Let us know how you like the show. Rate us on Apple and Spotify. Subscribe and follow for more.